Yo, what's up guys, my name is Destiny and welcome back to another video in the chat application series using Django and React. And on this one, we're going to go ahead and start working with searching users and actually displaying the searched result on a page. That is what we'll be doing. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the video and learn something new. Do make sure to drop a like on it. Consider subscribing, as it really means the world to me. So let's go ahead and get started. I will open up my code editor one more time. And I'm gonna hop over to the front end, open up the source folder, and in the we could do this wherever. Let's start off with doing it in the message detail. Yeah, we could still do it over here. Now what we want to do is quite easy. Remember how we actually typed message in the input box and the message actually got displayed and we did all this kind of stuff? That is the same thing that we want to do. So back to the top over here, I'm going to change this to new search. So remember it was called new message, but now I want to call it new search. And I'm going to say set new search. As simple as that. And for this one, I'm going to call this search. So there will be an input field, this one over here. Okay, we're still having an issue now. That should be working fine. What's going on? Okay, I think that's a token refresh error. That should be working well now. There you go. So this is the inputs that we have, right? Now we will type something in this input and we want to display it down here. Okay, so how do we go about that? I will remove every console log that we've got. Just give me a sec. Let me get rid of all the console logs that we've got here. Okay, it seems we still have one. Let me just search for .log, console.log ID. I don't need that. Where is the next one? That's error. I think I need that one. I also need error. I don't need this one. Which other one? Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Let's refresh this page. Okay, there you go. This is working well. Now the first thing that we want to do, just like I told you guys, we define the state over here. And after defining the state, we want to go ahead and pretty much write its own handle change. Remember when we did the same thing for the sending of message? So you can actually copy and duplicate. It's up to you. If you don't want to do that, you can still go ahead and type it out. I'm just going to type it out. I'm going to say handle search change. And remember, it's going to be a function that will have an event parameter in there. And over here, I'm going to go ahead and say set new search, which is this one that we wrote. And for the set new search, what do we want to set? We're going to use a spread operator to set all the search that we are going to get or that we're going to be typing in. All right. So that's pretty much what we want to do over here. I pretty much passed in new search, and just like we did the same event thing over here, that's the same thing that we want to do. All right. I explained this thoroughly in the last video. Hopefully you guys have an understanding of what's going on now. Now we need to create another function, which will be search user. This one is going to be the one that when the user click on the button, then they're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and trigger the function. So I'm going to start off by saying axios.get. Remember our search API? There is an issue. Okay, what's going on? Axios.get. Let's get rid of this. This is the const search. Oh yeah, that's the problem. So this is an arrow function. So there's supposed to be an arrow over there. Now I'm going to say axios.get. I'm going to pass in our base URL in here. Remember how that have been working. And let's go over to the API and see how that actually works. So I will open this up and pretty much look for search Destiny. So I want to search for Destiny. There you go. Destiny actually exists. That's working perfectly well. So I'm going to have search down here. And apart from that, now we need to look for a way to add in the whatever that we typed in the box. So whatever that we type in that box is going to be the username of the user or their email or whatever. So in that case, what you want to do is quite easy. You just want to say new search, this one over here, dot username. Okay, so new search dot username. Don't worry, I'll show you guys how this is working. So how do we actually know that we need to pass in new search to username? I will comment this out for now, and let's work with a handle search so that you guys understand everything that's going on. Now come over to this input over here. That's the one that we are looking for, and we need to pass in a couple of things. I'm going to start off by passing in the on change, and remember what we wrote for it. We wrote the handle search change. That's it. And we also need to pass in a name. Now this time around for the name, I'm going to pass in username. Okay, so I pass in username, and now we get back here. What's going on here? So why does this keep failing? I think I totally need to, let me clear my local storage. So I'm gonna come over here, or I can still go ahead and log out. There you go. I can still, let me just close this off and log out. Or what's that? Oh boy. So let me just come over to my application. I'm actually going to take a look at what's going on over there, because that's not supposed to be failing like that. So I'm going to run this again. That's pretty much it. That's a token refresh error. The token is expiring, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and log in again. Now this should set the token. That should work fine. And my inbox, this is my inbox page. And now when I start typing, hey, okay, nothing is happening. So hopefully I'm doing this in the right place. This is username on change handle search. That is fine. All we just need to do is go ahead and log. I'm gonna log new message, or not new message, but new search instead. Okay, so log new search, and over here we need to type something. You see now, hey, that's what we are getting. So we passed in the name over here, then we grab, okay, we don't actually have we're supposed to pass in a value. So remember when I passed in the value new message for the previous one that we did before. I'm gonna hop down there real quick. Remember I passed this value here, new message dot message. Now this message over here, just like I told you guys, was whatever that we passed in here. Remember, in here message, but this time around I'm trying to do this another way so that you guys can see different ways of doing this. If you don't want to pass in the value, that's still okay. You could just pass in a name and call it username or whatever you want. Okay, and over here, because we're grabbing the target on wherever the handle change is placed, which is the input, we grab the target is called username, and we grab whatever value that's attached to it, to the input field, okay, or whatever that's been typed over there. In our case is new search, so I can say new search dot username. Okay, that means I want to get the key. So over here, if I type, see, that's working perfectly well. Okay, so this is username, this is username. How about I say banana, and I start typing? There you go. See, it's still working perfectly well. That's it. So after we've done that, I'm gonna uncomment my API one more time, and I want you guys to know that we still have to work on a button over here. I still need a button. Let me do that before I start working on the API. My apologies for actually breaking off from the API and coming to work on this now. I just want you guys to see how everything works. I'm gonna put a class name and say and call it ML2. That's margin left 2. And for now, we don't have the on click. All right, so this is where our button is, which pretty much doesn't make any sense. We have flex grow, we have deflex, and we have align items center, flex grow. I think we don't even need this deflex here. I'm just gonna, instead of passing in this deflex over here, I can just cut that and put here, because I want this one to be on the same side with this. That's perfect. That's what I want. So for now, I think that should be it. Only that we need to go ahead and add in a couple more things in the button. I'm gonna say add in an I class, like that. Class should be FASFA dash search, just like this, you see. And I want to give it a couple of styling. I'm gonna say style, and let's start off with the border. I will say border should be none, and think that should take away the border. All right, that's not taking away the border. Style border none. Okay, I think I'm adding the style in the icon, which is not supposed to be, but it's supposed to be in the button instead, so it will take effect. There you go, that's working perfectly well. And you could also add a comma, and I'm gonna say background should also be none, or you could say transparent or whatever you want. There you go, this is what I want right now. So our button is fine. Let's hop back to our API. So now in our API, we're pretty much trying to get the search and new username dots this, and I think there is one other slash that's appended to the end of the API, which is this one. So that's why I'm gonna append that there. And after this, it's definitely will return the response. So I'm gonna say res, which is the response that we will get back. And let's start off by logging the res.data. All right, res.data. And I'm gonna grab the search user and let's plug it into the button. Remember, that one is going to be on click search user, as simple as that. Let's try this out and see what we are getting. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna go ahead and say destiny and hit the search button. There you go. This is an empty array. Okay, yeah, actually it returned something in there, and as you can see, it's returned destiny. That's working perfectly well. So by passing something that doesn't exist and actually send that, I think it breaks the code. Yeah, it breaks the code because see, it's showing a 404 error. So we need to look for a way to handle this instead of just breaking the code. And one of the best ways to do this is to actually use a try catch. So I'm gonna use a try catch, paste it down there, and instead of breaking the whole code, hey, just go ahead and log the error that we are getting. Okay, so over here I'm gonna do this again, create that. Okay, let's just break out from the terminal and let's run it again. So break out, run it again. That should be running. Okay, so when we check out what's going on there, we will go ahead and then fix the rest of the code, and that should be pretty much it. So I'm gonna hop over to inbox, open up one of those messages. This is it over here. I will open up my console and I will say, just type in whatever and hit enter. Okay, it still keeps failing the error. It keeps throwing the error. So it says request failed with status code 404. Now we need to do something. Okay, we need to handle that error. How do we do that? I'm gonna say if res.status, if res.status is equal to 404, you can still add more error codes if you want to do that. So if it's equal to 404, I want to do something. Let me just go ahead and alert. I can alert something like user does not exist instead of breaking the whole code. Let's see if that will work. So over here I'm just gonna search. Okay, that still doesn't work. There's definitely an issue. So it says request failed with status code this, details no user found. That is fine. And I'm gonna come over to the console. How about over here we just log? So what we're pretty much doing now is try an error to see everything that is. I'm gonna pass in details to actually see everything that's happening and actually look for a way to track the errors that we're getting. So this is the error that we're getting over here: API /search/dadddd blah blah blah. This is it. It says details no user found. So there is definitely an issue with this, because when I search for my own username that actually exists, it doesn't show the bug. So what's going on? Base URL plus this. Then if first the status is equal to 400, then we allow this. Else, if it's not equal to 400, then we pretty much want to push to a page. But for now, I just want to log. I'm gonna log found for now. All right. Okay, so so I was looking at something here. This is the then, right? Instead of using a try catch, I will get rid of, or I'm gonna say dot catch. Let's also try this. I'm gonna say dot catch, and over here I'm just gonna pass in the error, and this one is gonna be a full-blown function actually. And I will just copy this, paste it down here, and say no users found. Okay, so we're trying to see if that's gonna get the error, or actually occupy the error without breaking the entire code. All right, so I took some time to actually see what the problem was, and over here we have a typographical error. So right now, hopefully you guys already know that when we search for a user, let's say Sam, if the user exists, then over here we should see found. You see, that's because we console logged this over here. All right, but if the user does not exist, let's say we just typed in something else, then it shows this error. That's what we were actively getting. Now, the only way that we can go ahead and fix this error is to fix one little typographical error that I had. This is supposed to be catch and not car JH. Hopefully you guys saw that out too, and that should fix it. That's pretty much it. So now if you hit enter, you see, instead of displaying the error over here, it displays it in the terminal, and it also says no users found, which is pretty much what we are logging over here. Guys, that's pretty much what we want to do. And what we can now do is go ahead and start working with a search page. Hopefully you guys already know that when we search for this user, we're going to push to another page where we will display the user that we just searched. That's what we'll be doing. So how do we do this? First of all, we need to go ahead and import history from use param. So scroll all the way to the top, and over here I'm just going to import history. Okay, yeah, use history actually, not just history. And we need to look for a place to instantiate the history, and the best place to do that is somewhere here. Okay, so in case you don't know, the history is pretty much something like a redirect. All right, something that maybe when something happens, redirects a user to another page. That's pretty much what we use history to do. But the page is not going to reload or anything like that. It will just push to that page. All right, so how do we go ahead and do this now? Then we need to go down to the search user function that we created, which is down here. And then the search user function, if a user exists, this one over here says user does not exist. This one here says found. So if a user is found, what do we want to say? We want to pretty much push to the page where we will now display the user. Okay, so let's push to a page that will be called search / then we need to add the username of the user that we just searched now, which will be new search dot username. Hopefully you guys already know this, that what we're getting from over here. So now the URL will be constructed in a way that the newly searched username that we just typed in the input box and hit the search button will be appended in the URL. That's pretty much what we're trying to do over here. So let's try this out one more time. If we hit Sam or something that doesn't exist, it's just going to show an issue and nothing is going to happen. It's not going to redirect to anywhere. But if we try searching for a user that exists, what do you notice? Now it redirects to a URL called /search/sem. But we don't have that URL yet. So what are we supposed to do? Now we will create a new view that's going to be called search.js or search users.js. It all depends on what you want to call it. Over here, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it search users.js. Okay, and I'm going to use my RFCE to actually pull this in. So after doing this, let's go ahead and register create a new route in the app.js. So you want to open up your app.js and you want to pretty much hop over to the top and import your search users. So I will just say import search users, and that will automatically import it for me. And what we need to do is go ahead and add that into this route. You can add it in a private route, you can add it in this one over here. All right, it's up to you how you want to do that. Let's just add it up in the private route. So I'm going to copy the search users and I'm going to put this down here, as simple as that. Remember, this is called search. This over here is called search, the first one. Now what is the other one called? That's the user's username. That's the parameter. So I'm just going to pass in username. Okay, so now we should now have that page. That page will now exist. So if I console log, if I comment out the navbar, actually not console log, what you notice now we have search users. So on this page, that is where we're going to go ahead and display the search user information that we just got. So how do we want to go about this? Now I'm going to come over to my chat template. Remember, I have this search HTML. Now all I will do is just grab this and come over to the search users, and I pretty much want to just paste it down here. All right, hopefully you're following along. And I need to indent this so everything looks okay. Push this inside again, and actually we have a lot of redundant div that we are not using here. So how about we go ahead and remove a couple of them. I'm going to remove all this one over here, and I will also remove all this one over here. You can actually just use React fragments if you want. I think this is even working as expected. Yeah, it's working as expected, but you could go ahead and use React. I'm going to open that up. So over here, then we can just go ahead and paste this in. That's perfect. Let's uncomment our navbar so everything takes shape again. There you go. This is how everything is looking. That's perfect. Now we have this user Destiny Franks with no image and then all that over here. This is just dummy data. Okay. If you come over to the search user, you will see that this is a dummy data, you see. So now we need a way to actually go ahead and search for the user in our search.js function that we wrote down here in this search.js over here. So we need to look for a way to grab whatever that was typed in here and query it with our database and actually grab the user. That's what we're going to be doing. How should we do that? Hop back to the message detail, and what are the things that we need? Do we need moments? No, we don't need moments. Use param. Okay, you know what? I will just grab everything that we have over here and I'll put it at the top. Then whichever one that we did not use, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Okay, so we need all that. And what else do we need? We need our base URL. We need the new search. That one is sure. So I'm going to copy this too for now, and I'm going to put them down here. So hopefully you guys understand what's going on. These are all the codes that we've written before. All right, so we're just coming in here and we're grabbing this. We've actually written all the code and all the functions to do all this. All right, all we just need to do is just grab the search code that we wrote here and put it in the search users file to do the same job. It's as simple as that. But just follow along with what's going on. So these are the code that we've written before. We now grab it and put it in our search user. What else do we need? You see all this code that gets all this code over here. Do we need the history? Yes, we need the history. I'm gonna grab all this code and let's put it down here, and I'll remove some of them and tell you guys why we don't need them. So this one is ID, but instead of ID, what we need is the username. All right, so we need to grab the username based on what we passed in here. So whatever you passed in here, that is pretty much what you want to grab over here. So username is going to be use param. When you console log this username, you should see Sam. So let me console log username, or you should see Sam here. You see that there is no way to actually see that. Yeah, there you go. See, it's now shows Sam. So you can say username dot username. Then it will now show only the Sam instead of also showing the dictionary. I don't know if that's clear. So after that, we also need Axios and we need history. That's pretty much everything that we need. We don't need anything else here again. Get rid of every other thing. So we need history to push back to the message detail page. We need Axios to be able to make call to the API. And we need this use param over here to be able to grab whatever username that was appended in the search. It's as simple as that. So instead of copying any more code, I'm going to go ahead and actually write this ones out now. All right. So how do we do this? I'm going to start off by, let's create a new state. I'm going to call this one, it's up to you what you want to call it, but let's just call it, I'm going to firstly call it user, and I'm going to say set user. Okay. Or you can call it set users. It's up to you what you want to call it. I'm just going to call it user, and it should just hold, it should have an array in there because we want to get a list of items from the database. All right. Then over here, I'm going to say use effects. All right, just like this, we created a new use effects function, and in this use effects, we pretty much want to query or make a get request to the API, just like we've done before. And the API is called what? Remember, search Remember, it's called search. Then the next data or parameter that it needs is the username. And in this case, remember how we were getting the username? Remember when I console logged username, the username that we got Sam here? So does that actually ring any bell? That means we need to do username dot username. It's as simple as that. We are done. And I think there is a trailing slash in the API, so just go ahead and add a trailing slash over there so everything works well. Then I'm gonna say dot then, and let's just do this down here. I'm gonna say dot then, and we need to pass in res. This is a parameter, you can call it whatever you want, and we are pretty much passing the parameter because we want to grab the data that was sent back to us from the API. So the dot then is going to run when the API returns a response. Okay, so this over here is a short abbreviated form of response. You can actually call it response in full, or you could call it banana. It's up to you what you want to call it. I will just call mine response like that. And if we are getting anything back from the database, what you want to do is go ahead and set all the users that we have found into the set user state. So we just need to say res.data. I can still come over here and log res.data so you guys can see what we are getting back from that API. So we come over here and see, this is running permanently. But if you notice, you see that we are actually getting Sammy from over here in the API because Sammy is in the query. That's really amazing. But we need to add a dependency array so our function don't run forever, which will in turn break our code. So we do that. I'm going to break off from the server and run it again. So I run my server so that we don't have an infinite loop. And over here, that's a lot. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this one more time. And because we have Sam in here, we should now see that it gets back Sam. This is just perfect. So now, how about we hop back to the message detail and we this time around search for Destiny, and we actually search. Destiny exists. What do you notice? It got Destiny. Now our search feature is pretty much done. We just need to go ahead and go ahead and map out all the users that we searched in here, and we should be done. That's pretty much it. So what we need to do is go ahead and also write a catch. So what if a user wasn't found? What if a user wasn't found and we are in here searching for the user, but the user doesn't exist? What do we want to do? Wait, hold on, let me see. Does this? Oh, that doesn't work. So let's actually make the search box that is in the search page. Let's make it work. Go back to the message detail and scroll all the way to the bottom where we have the okay. Before we do this, let's finish up writing the catch. This catch method over here that's gonna catch whatever error that we get. So I'm gonna say catch and I'm gonna pass in error in there, and hopefully you guys already know that this is a function. So in case there was an error from the API, this is what's gonna get it and throw it back to us. So in this case, the error that we're gonna get will say something like user does not exist. Let's go ahead and import swal. I will say import swal. That's sweet alert. Remember when we used that previously? So I will say swal dot fire. And what do we want to fire? We're going to go ahead and start off with a title. We're going to say user does not exist. All right, that's the first one. Now what is the next one? The next one is going to be icon. That should be error. Now what is the next one? You can make it a toast. All right, it's up to you. I'm going to say toast and I'm going to pass in true. And what is the next one? We could use a timer. Let's say 2000. That's after 2 seconds it should disappear. And what of the position? Position should be, it's up to you where you want to put this one. I'm gonna say let's start off with middle. Okay, you can put this at the top right or wherever you want, but let me just put it at the middle. And what else do we need? We need a timer progress bar, show confirmation button, all those ones. Let's just work with this. Let's just work with this one that we have now. So if we get an error, this is going to happen. Okay, and apart from doing all this, let's also go ahead and log the error that we got. So I'm going to log the error. So are you guys following along with what's going on? Let me go ahead and explain again. So what we did over here is pretty much make a query to the search user API with whatever username that was typed into the box that is now appended in the URL bar. So when we make that get request to the API, it's going to return a response. Definitely, it's either return a response without errors or with errors. So when it returns a response without error, we pretty much console log that response and set it to the user state, which stores whatever user that was gotten from that API. But if there was an error, instead of using the error to break our code, we pretty much catch the error and display it in an alert that will say user does not exist. It's as simple as that. Okay, so after we've done this, that's pretty much it for now. We need to go ahead and work with let's work with making the search box work. This one over here. Right now it's not working on this page, so hop back to the message detail, and I want you to grab the search div. So you can grab all the way from when it said flex grow 1 deflex. I will just do that so I can be able to find it here. There you go, and I will just replace it with what I have over here. It's as simple as that, and this should now take effect. Okay, but there are a couple of issues. We don't have this function, we don't have this one. We need to go ahead and create all that. You can actually type it out if you want, but to save ourselves some time, we already have this, so there is no need to type it out. That's exactly what we need. We don't need to type out anything again, we don't need to do anything again, just those. That's pretty much what we need. Just grab it and put it down there, and we hop back to this place. Now we can search for Sam again. What do you notice down here? It says Sam. Let's search for this. Okay, it says this, but there is a little issue. We seem not to be getting back we are not getting back the user. Okay, so right now when we hit this and search, it just shows no user found. It does not actually try to return back the user for us, so that doesn't make any sense. What should we do? This is the .then code. This one over here returns user does not exist. This one pushed to this place. Let's set user, and for the set user, we will pretty much return the res.data. Okay, now let's try this out one more time. Okay, that seems to be returning something. I'm gonna search for Sam. Okay, that did not return anything actually. Let's search for Sammy and hit the search button. That still did not return anything, but if the page reloads, then it returns something. But when we search, it does not return anything, so something definitely is going wrong. You see over here it returns Sammy. That works well. Now this is showing undefined on line 4 to 5. This one over here, new search.username. Let's know what's showing undefined. I'm just gonna copy this, make it a string, and I'm gonna make it like this so that we can see what's going on. So the new search.username is actually undefined. You see, that is undefined. Actually, that makes sense now. I'm gonna search for Sammy. Okay, yeah, we have an issue. Let's see what's going on. Okay guys, so we are pretty much getting this issue that when we put in a user over here, it actually gets the user, but it does not reload the page. It does not push to the new page. So we actually need to find out what's going on. Down here where we are console logging this user, let's do one thing. I'm gonna set user and let's set it to res.data. So that means whenever we search for a user, we pretty much update the state with this new user over here. And one more thing that I noticed that might be causing this issue is this. The dependency array over here is actually empty, which means that once this page reloads, the code will run only once and it will not run again. But we want this code to run whenever the URL over here changes or whenever the history changes. The history is pretty much whenever there is a new push to a page or whenever the URL changes. So how do we do that? Over here, we need to pass in 2 parameters. So we want this use effect to be dependent on the history and also the new search.username. So whenever there is a new search.username, then we want this to change actually. So let's test this out now and see what's going to happen. So right here, we can see that this is getting Destiny Franks. So how about we go ahead and search for MA. Remember, we have 3 users with the user MA and hit search. Now we return an array. Okay, it still returns Destiny. I'm gonna search for that again. Okay, there you go. This starts working now. So as you can see, because we have MA, we return users that have that have M and A in their username or in their email or whatever. So there's MA in this, there's MA in this. How about Destiny? How did Destiny get MA in his? Okay, but let's try searching for one user. I'm going to search for Sam and hit enter on our keyboard. Enter. There you go. You see, this gets Sam. How about we search for Des and we hit enter on our keyboard? There you go. This get Destiny Franks. So this is working perfectly well now, and hopefully we don't have any more issues. All we need to do is just go ahead and list whatever we are getting over here down here in this map, okay, or in the dummy data where we have the dummy data. We need to go ahead and map out whatever we are getting there. So how do we do this? I'm gonna hop down to where we have the Destiny Franks. Where is it? I'm gonna open this up. Okay, it's only send message now that we have here. Send message. Actually, the Destiny Franks is supposed to be somewhere here. Let me try that again and see. There you go. That's where it's supposed to be. So now over here, we need to go ahead and loop through. So how about we just map? I'm gonna say it should be user.map. Actually, you can rename that to users. Okay, so what we're trying to map through now is whatever that was set in here. Okay, so we're gonna say user.map, and you want to pass in an ID in here or a parameter. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just gonna pass in user and also index. So that's the one that we're going to be using to actually list out the user data. Now, I will grab this and just put it down here. Okay, hope that makes sense. There is one thing that I think might be missing actually. You see this user, let's put it above the A tag. Okay, put it above the A tag. This one also put it over here. And let's try this one more time. So there's returns that. How about Ma? There you go, it's working. Now this returns 3. How about Sam? So you see Sam returns 1. How about Ma? There you go, Ma returns 3. How about this? She should return 1. So this is working perfectly well, guys. Now let's go ahead and fill all this up with the necessary information that we need. But before we do that, there is just one more thing that we need to do. We need to go ahead and we need to grab the profile of users. Okay, so to go ahead and actually fill this in, I was initially thinking that we need to go ahead and grab the profile of the user, but since we already passed this in the serializer, it will automatically get the user's full name, image, and one more, yes, the ID and the user. So what we just need to do is over here we simply need to change this dummy Destiny to user.full_name. Take notes, this should be 1 parenthesis, not 2. I'm kind of used to Django and using 2 parentheses and all that. So now this is going to show Destiny Frank. That's amazing. When I hit MA, this show Destiny Frank, Sammy, and Mazat. That is amazing also. So now the final thing that we need to change is their image. So over here, I'm just going to say dot image, and let's see what we have. Okay, there you go. That's perfect. So when we search for this, you see we have only Destiny without refreshing the page. When we search for Ma, we have the 3 of them. When we search for Maz, you see we have all this. So yes, that is perfectly well and amazing. So we just need to go ahead and route and create the link so that we can be able to redirect the user to the message detail page and we can start sending a message to them quickly. So how do we do this? I will hop back to this A tag over here and change it to link. Okay, and I'm gonna bring this down because I need to write a couple more attributes. I'm gonna start off with 2. This one is gonna be quite easy. All you need to do is just pass in inbox. What is the message detail URL? So the inbox is called, just inbox. So over here we just need to say inbox slash over here. So I'm gonna say slash. So inbox slash, then we append it with what? The user.id. That's very simple and easy. So now that we've done this, let's try it out. Now let's say we want to chat with Mazat. We click on that. Okay, there you go. You see, it opens up all the message that I've had with Mazat. This is pretty amazing. So let's say I searched for a user called Sammy. There you go. This is Sammy. If I click on Sammy, what do you notice? It will open up all the message I've had with Sammy. That is just amazing. Okay, so I think for now that's pretty much it. The only issue that we are getting is this one over here, that when we click on this over here, it just shows undefined and it doesn't work. So we need a way to fix that. hop back to the message detail and to this one over here. We need to see actually what's causing that issue. So this is what should be causing the issue over here. It redirects to the correct ID, but it doesn't get the message. You see, it actually changed this over here, but it does not get the message. So we need a way to actually get the message when the ID changes. So remember how we worked with the dependency array, how we made the dependency array to actually depend on history and the username, which pretty much means that the dependency array or the use effects should run again when the URL changes. I think that should be a quick fix for what we have to do over here. This is where we're getting my messages, the user ID. So how about over here we just say let's this depend on history. Okay, so let's start with it depending on history and let's see what happens. So history, I'm gonna click on Mazat. All right, there you go. That's perfect. So this is all we wanted to do. Now when we click on Sammy, it gets Sammy's message. See, just hold on. I think, okay, yeah, it shows undefined again. So that's not supposed to, oh yeah, I think we did not actually fix this issue. You see, it's still showing undefined despite depending on history. Now we also need to depend on this one over here is the one that gets all the message between two users. This one over here is one that fetch all the message. Actually, I think let's grab this and also put it down here in the history. And let's see. I'm gonna click on Sammy again. It gets Sammy, click on Mazat. Now it does not get Mazat. So that's an issue. Okay, let's see what's going on here. All right, so I think this use history that we're passing in over here, this one is actually not needed. We can get rid of this one. It's not needed. Just leave the dependency array blank. But we need to actually know how we should make the dependency array depend on something. So whenever we have this, so I will just clear my local storage and let me refresh this again. This should take me to the login page, hopefully. There you go. And let me log in one more time. Okay. So let's hop to I'm gonna come over to Sammy over here, and this should get Sammy's message after 2 seconds. Now when we click on Mazat, that's where the issue starts coming in. So when we click on Mazat, now we get undefined. Now we want the use effect to run again when this URL over here changes. And the way we are getting this 3 or 2 or 1 ID is from this ID over here. So you can copy that ID or grab it and you want to pass it in here and also say .id. So get the particular ID. All right. When the ID changes, we run the code. Let me change this to 1 second. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to click on Mazat. You see, it opens up Mazat. Click on Sammy. It opens up Sammy. Click on Mazat. It opens up Mazat. Click on Sammy. It opens up Sammy. It's working perfectly well. Hopefully we've fixed all the issues that we are getting. And I think that should be it for the chat application. Hey, we send this. There you go. Hey, it shows up. We hop over to Mazat's chat. We say, yo, we send this. It sends in Mazat's chat. We hop over to Sammy's chat. We can see our chat with Sammy. I think that will bring us to the end of the chat application using Django and React. And it's been a really long tutorial. And hopefully you guys learned something new. And in the next one, we should go ahead and start working with something cool. I don't know, maybe we can work with a blog application using Django and React or something totally different. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the Django and React series. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section. I will try my possible best to reply you. You can also shoot me a mail to desfis@gmail.com in case I did not reply your comments on time. Then I will be able to answer your email. Hopefully you guys liked the video and enjoyed it. In the next chatting series with React and Django, I will work with WebSockets, which means we don't have to make 1 second request to the server to actually get the latest message, but it will rely on WebSockets, and that will be really amazing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Do make sure to check out the links in the description. One of them should help you become a better Django developer. And the next video, we're going to go ahead and start working with something new, and I hope to see you there. Until the next time, mad love, peace out.